What's going on, good people? It is your girl P Coffee Brown here in the great state of Texas, honey, and we are live in the studio for our lovely podcast. And we're gonna get straight to it. We're not gonna waste no time tonight because this is about to be a very, very juicy conversation. So last week we talked about, you know what? Before we do that, I just want to know from Dupria, why is it that we've had winter, spring, summer, fall in the last week? Why is that? Jason, have you had winter, spring, summer, fall in your area?
No, this is Seattle. All we've had was rain the last week.
Listen, we've had winter, spring, summer, and fall in the last week.
It was very disrespectful. It was very disrespectful. First of all, y'all already took the time, and now you want to give me all seasons in 1 week?
What?
That's
And then
what
you
we
got the nerve to be when we get up. I mean, like, let me tell you how cold it was, Jason. I get up and I got this ritual, right? I get up and I go out every single morning to go walking. I opened the door and the wind pushed me back in the house. I said, oh no,
Wow.
oh no, the devil's a lie. I ain't going outside. I said, no, I'm not up going outside in these type conditions. I mean, like the wind literally pushed me back in the house and the dog looking at me like, why are we going back home? Sir, I'm gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
It was real this week. It was very real.
It
37,
was something
47.
serious. 37, 47, 50 something. Just outrageous. I'm like, who turned on the air conditioner?
Well, I will tell you this: last Friday, it actually snowed here,
Oh,
Mm-mm.
which was the surprise because it was like, okay, so you waited till the week before spring to just snow for 24 hours. That was it.
Just random.
24 hours of snow.
Yeah, no.
Foolery. I was like, what is going on in here? And then yesterday, after FOMC announcement, where the announcement was made about the interest rates, the market completely dumped off. But the interesting part about that was the Wall Street Trapper said the day before that the market was going to completely dump off, and he was like, "We all know they can't hike the interest rate, not right now. It'll just
Right.
be turmoil." So why y'all using this as a reason to wipe everybody's accounts out?
Oh wow.
And he not lying because the stock market, like when I say it went straight to hell yesterday,
Yeah,
it
it
went
did.
straight in a handbasket. Do not pass go and do not collect $200. I was like, it just started tanking, and of course, I was on Wednesdays. I'm in the city, so I was just looking at it. I was on my computer just watching it tank. I was like, man, and I started to get in the trade, but I was like, the minute I hop in this trade, it's liable to do something else. I'm not even gonna play with this right now. So I just sat there and watched it, just looked at it like, okay.
You gotta wait it out. You're there for the long haul.
Listen,
You're there for the
I
long
was like, I want to live the trade another day. For real. I was like, I'm
Right.
not doing it. Oh my God.
You know, honestly, I think that everything have been up and down very
It has
fast
been.
lately. The
It has been.
technology has been lagging and cutting out and cutting in. The phones just haven't been working. Trying to call out, it's taking a long time to dial out. It's just so many different things going on. The weather, the market.
Nothing is consistent. And it's so interesting because we've been talking a lot about consistency, and I'm like, nothing around us is consistent right now. Inconsistency is what's consistent right now. Like
Very much so. Very much
it's
so.
literally the saying, change is inevitable. It's really that's what's happening right now. It's like whatever can change, it is changing, and it's changing quickly. So I got a question for you guys first before we start talking about this topic tonight. Round two of what about your friends? So I want to ask y'all something. Wall Street Trapper, shout out to Wall Street Trapper. Love him to life. Phenomenal guy when it comes to teaching, training, and educating individuals on stock. Powerful platform. It's totally he's under the radar right now, but when he pop up, it's gonna be some fierce with him. He made a comment that I wanted us to kind of talk about. So he said that, so his little girl called while he was live. And it wasn't an emergency or anything like that. She just called to holler at him. And he said, well, why you not watching the show? You know, it's Tuesday. And she was like, oh, my bad, yada, yada, yada. So they're having this little dialogue while everybody's waiting on him to finish communicating with his daughter. So he comes back on and he says that no matter what's happening or no matter what I'm doing, it's God and then my daughter. My daughter comes before everybody, right? And when he said that, I said, that's very interesting because he's in a very serious relationship with somebody. I know the girl. So he's in a very serious relationship with somebody. And he was like, it's God and then my daughter. Nobody's ever going to come before my daughter. And when he said that, I was like, where is that coming from? And knowing historically his relationship with his mom, if you ever heard his story, his mom was in a dope game. It was a lot of crazy energy. So his grandmother was really the one that instilled all the values in him and all that stuff. It wasn't really his mom. And I'm wondering, is his thought coming from the lack of that parental guidance and that love that should be between a parent and a child? Because he's the first guy I've ever heard say that my daughter is going to come before nobody in the world, God first and then my daughter. I was like, if you're ever going to be somebody's husband, how is that going to work?
Well, it's something that I've heard before, but I think that, like you said, it could be childhood things. It could be experiences with the type of women he have been with, his relationship with his daughter's mom. It's so many variables that could play a part. But I also think that it could be a perspective thing, and also your consciousness not being expanded to that capacity of could look like in a different light. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I was thinking too, from a perspective, how would my purpose person feel if we're doing whatever we're doing, whatever, and I don't get that first place badge? How would that make my purpose person feel? I know, Jason, you wanted to say something, but I was thinking about that. I was like, that's pretty deep.
I mean, there are different variables to the ideology behind his statement, but the reality is, if I'm not married at this point, that's it. It's God and my daughter. Period. Until you prove to me you are worthy to step into that place, is God and my daughter.
But see, that's not his statement, though. His statement is, my daughter is going to be first forever. Nobody will ever come before my daughter. It's different from what you're saying. What you're saying is that you're putting it in perspective of whenever that purpose person manifests and we become one flesh, there can't be anybody above that. Two are to become one.
Maybe that, in a sense, that could be what he mean, but it's a short moment. You don't have the full thought process behind it. So it could be that.
Yeah.
But it's going based off of what he said, right? From. Yeah, right. What he said, then it's a different thing. We just never know. All we can do is like play on the different perspectives of it for others, because you don't want to tell people this and they lock that into their mind. That's just like a woman saying, oh, no man is ever going to come before my children. And I remember hearing my mom have that thought process. However, in my perspective of my experience, my journey, my person is going to come before my children, because my children are going to grow and go out, and I'm going to be
out of there. They're going to be out of there.
I'm a woman.
Period. They're going to be out of there.
So it just depends on how you're looking at it. However, that doesn't mean I'm going to allow a man to be in an authoritative position to the point where my children feel neglected, or they feel as if they don't have a voice or safety within their mother. No, it's never going to be that. Yes, he's going to have say-so, of course, but it's not going to be where the children feel like they're not getting what they need in that sense. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think too, in conjunction with what you just said, I think that children should have a voice in the partnership, not the voice, but a voice. If you ever
Yes.
feel like, mommy's neglecting you, or you don't feel like you're getting enough time with mommy, make sure that you express it to me respectfully so
Mhm.
that we can talk about, what is making you feel that way, and that. And if mama needs to make some adjustments, or if you need to make some adjustments, then we need to have a conversation about that, because I don't want it to rise and fall on me for you to say, yeah, I'm gonna use this as my opportunity to come between mama and her purpose person, because I don't necessarily, he ain't never did nothing to me, but I don't really like it,
Yeah.
because
Right.
children do that. They do that when somebody shows up that is um
Taking time.
A whole lot of
that
time. Like, mommy,
yeah, you know what I'm
why
trying
is
to
he
say.
here?
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Because tiny humans are wild like that. I remember after their dad passed, and I started seeing somebody. They literally told their aunt, I don't understand why he just we was in the living room and he came over. What? What you mean? You already knew he was coming over. Well, I don't understand why he always, and then he be hugging my mama, and then he such and such such. I was like, what? Yeah, have y'all lost your mind? I can't date y'all. So it took a minute for me to kind of really make them understand your daddy is not coming back.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need y'all to turn down all the way. Let your girl do what your girl do. But then another thing that I learned about that whole process was to not put so much on them at that time. Give them an opportunity to be able to adjust to what this new normal is going to look like. They're out of alignment, basically. So
Right.
give them an opportunity to
Territory.
adjust.
Yeah. New territory, and making sure you have the proper conversations along the journey.
Exactly.
Not just
Exactly.
allowing time to pass and you getting to know somebody and your children are not, included in that in the proper way. So
Right. Right. Facts.
I honestly believe the relationship with your child should be secure before you have a relationship with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because if your child feels like you might be mommy, you might be daddy, but you're never there, bringing someone in is just going to exacerbate that.
yeah.
So
That's
you
true.
have to secure your relationship, your understanding, or that child's understanding of who you are in their life, so that when someone does come in, they can say, "Oh, well, I'm glad to see you're getting what you need from life." Um, I don't believe in necessarily telling a child all of your ins and outs, but at the end of the day, communication always has to be um, clear
Right.
and defined. Just like in any relationship with your child, you need to define this is the role you play. This is the
Right.
role I play. So
Mhm.
let me play my role. I'm gonna let you play your role. I'm always gonna consider your voice, but let me play the role. So
Facts. Facts. I like that a lot. So let's get into this. So last week, Vincent, in his absence, y'all, like, listen, I'm not gonna be able um to to speak on Vincent's behalf tonight. Last week, though, he stirred the pot. We started talking about what about your friends, and he brought up some interesting thoughts and perspectives. And one of those perspectives was that if I have a new purpose person, my old friendships where they were some type of intimacy attached to them, they can no longer be a part of my life. They got to be totally gone. And I was saying in the show, and I know I kind of sound like a little pimp last week, but I was saying if I was with somebody before you, and me and that person is still cool, and you come along and we're building something, if you know what was and you are very clear on what has transpired, why is it that I have to totally unplug from my friend when the distance is there, the respect is there, all those things? You think now I don't need to, I can't talk to my friend, or I gotta unplug from my friend because it's somebody that I was with in another lifetime before you ever even existed. And I told you, I said, I don't agree with that, for two reasons. One is if you have an ex-mate and you procreated with that person, there's no way, if you're two high functioning human beings, that you're not going to be plugged into that individual pertaining to that child that you procreated. And you're trying to say all I'm gonna be able to say on the phone is coming, okay, what time you coming to pick them up? What time you dropping them off? And that's the gist of the conversation. So, in my mind's eye, I was thinking that as, a high functioning adult, and I've been around for a long time. It's not like we young people and we're in our 20s or something. And I'm 20 some years old.
I'm young.
Well, I know you're tenderoni. I got that part. But we're talking about tenderonies.
This is just season.
I know you
just
put all that, and you created that whole vibration. You didn't just put you just for men, and then put a little gray in there, trying to mingle it, make you look all grown up. I know what you did, Jason. And I was just like, I said, I can't come to terms with you on this one, Vincent. I just cannot come to terms with you on that because I think that for me, this is just P. Koffe Brown. This is P. Koffe Brown. When I break up with somebody, it ain't no going back.
Right.
I have not been the person to my father-in-law. One of my father-in-laws said, I don't chew my tobacco twice.
Oh, that's nasty.
It's nasty, right?
Right.
So that's how he said it. Like him and his ex-wife, they were like best friends. Like when I say best friends, they were like, man, they were so cool. And everybody kept saying, well, why don't y'all try it again? He was like, I don't chew my tobacco twice. I don't care how cool we are. I ain't never going back. No. So Dupree over there cracking up laughing, but it makes sense to me. What am I going back to? I got to still keep in mind that whatever reason I left, it still exists.
Right.
What y'all think? Talk to me.
Well, I'll say for me personally, I understand where he may have come from, but a lot of his statement sounds like trauma. Now, yeah. I don't know. I wasn't on the call last week, so forgive me. But it sounds like some type of trauma somewhere, because for the reality of that situation, man, if we grown, we grown.
Period.
I've learned in my few years on this earth that we have to.
You're only 27, but go ahead.
Right, you know, I've been blessed. But if two adults can't be adults, then we have a bigger problem. If I have to feel like I have to cut everybody off from you, then there's obviously a trust issue, whether it's in you or whether it's in me, but there's a trust issue. I've learned in my few years to accept situations for what they are and compartmentalize people to where they prove themselves to be. And there are some friends I have that I trust with. I can almost trust with everything. And then there are some people I know you like to lie. So I don't tell you nothing because you been untold a lie and said something or did something, and I'm going to be mad. So I don't get in a situation where you got to lie to me. You can always tell me the truth. I know some people that I can't trust with money. So I don't give you no money, because if I give you money, I'm going to be mad. And I'm going to punch you in the face because you didn't give my money back. So why do that? But you're still good people.
27-year-old talking.
I'm just saying, but you good people. You good people. But I'm not going to put myself in a situation where we going to be at odds with each other. You know what I'm saying? If I know you one of them people that's 100% negative about everything, yeah, I talk to you in spurts because I can't take all of that. I can't take all that negativity. But you're good people. So once you learn, I guess once we learn how to accept people for who they are and what they present, it doesn't matter the rest of it, because at the end of the day, a grown person is going to do whatever a grown person wants to do. And if I gotta be in a relationship with you and police who you talk to and who you don't talk to and all that other stuff, man, it ain't worth being with you.
It's not worth the headache at all. So 2 things, right? Depria, when it comes to her personal life or friends and company I keep, I can't even lie to y'all. I'm really like, if I don't see purpose in our journey, I'm just gonna leave it there. But when it comes to having, my children's dad or whatever, I'm gonna always be a responsible adult and choose what's best for my child. So even if you're trying to create any type of chaos or whatever, I'm going to redirect you. And if anybody that chooses to be in my life afterwards, you have to understand that this is something that's going to be a part of me forever. So we're going to be responsible adults. We're going to have effective communication. And sometimes we're going to, kiki a little bit, but it's nothing past that. That's the father of my child, and we can't just be like, oh, you coming today? What time? Okay, bye.
Yeah.
He show up. I'm like, how you doing? You all right? Yeah, it's gonna be that. And if you can't handle me being a kind and courteous person with anybody, whether they from my past or not, you're not going to be able to withstand or endure this life experience with me.
I mean, because just think about it. If you go anywhere and you got any kind of impact, any place, I'm always have a problem with you after the show, whatever that means.
Yeah. And now you're
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna always be right. It's always gonna be a problem with you after the show. Well, I noticed you was talking to him for a long time, and I was just wondering, why you feel like you had to talk to him for so long? What? Who are you talking about? Well, the dude you was talking to all that. Man, what? I said, you really? So you don't want me to be personable? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Get your life together. Well, I felt like, well, I understand we all got feelings. Get them handled at the dentist. Okay. That's how you get feelings handled, at the dentist.
Come see Depria.
Period. Go to the dentist office if you need to handle feelings. Because otherwise, you wasting my time and you putting energy into something that is not going to help you, kind sir. Because that same dude
have the energy, the capacity for that. Like, do you not understand we have bigger fish to fry?
Like, dude, I'm talking to them because this what pay our bills.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to understand what the problem is. I mean, he is contributing to our household. What is the problem, kind sir?
Yeah, but the thing is, you saying I can't talk to somebody says what? You need to control my conversation.
Yeah. You want to control my journey and yours.
Right. And that's impossible. We're two totally different people.
It's insecurity.com is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Insecurity and immaturity. Because some people think that's the right statement to make because it feels right. But that's the problem. You're going, like you said, you're going off of your feelings. And your feelings will fool you and have you in a mess all the time.
Every time. So let's talk about a different kind of feel. Let's talk about a different kind of friend. This one kind of, made me kind of think when I was talking about it. So we're on round 2 about what about your friends. This one about the supportive versus competitive energy.
Now, you talking about a friend or a companion?
This is about what about your friend?
Okay. So I got a competitive friend that.
What about your friends? Loyalty, boundaries, and growth.
Okay.
So let's talk about the supportive versus competitive energy, the level of friendships.
I'll say it like this. For Jason has few friends. I have a bunch of associates. I have very few friends. Mm-hmm. There are very few people in my life I call friend. Now, in the converse, there are probably hundreds of people that call me friend. And I come into their lives and I am their friend. Whenever they need me, I stand up. If you need me to to be a shoulder to cry on, I'm there. If you need me to help you understand some things, I'm there. If I have to physically get into a situation with helping you move or do something like that, I'm there. Now, granted, at my young age, I rather pay somebody to move
27.
than to pick up some furniture, but I will be there. I will be there to manage
27.
the people you pick up to help move your stuff. But at the end of the day, Jason has learned to um, understand what friends really are.
Mhm.
So to me, friendship comes with time. Friendship comes with proven characteristics. And until you've proven those characteristics, we are associates. I don't care how long I've known you.
Jason sounds like a Scorpio.
He sounds like he is the Scorpio. He is not.
No, I am a Sagittarius.
Scorpio, that's Scorpio energy right there.
I would have never guessed fire energy. Like, I would have never, but.
But my reality is I am not going to be that dude that I got to compete with you. If you my boy, you my girl, whatever you got going on, I'm there. I'm there 100%. I'm gonna support you, rah rah. I'm gonna be your cheerleader. But if it's too many times where I'm doing something and you talking about, oh, I'm doing that too, or I'm doing this, or you gotta one up me in every conversation, yeah, we ain't gonna have too many more conversations.
Not at all. Not at all.
I know somebody like that. Go ahead, Debria.
I love everything that Jason said, and I can relate to it in so many ways because I think that me being water sign, Scorpio, fixed sign, I'm so loving and kind and all the things. And when I enjoy someone's individuality and I come into connection with that, I'll show up a few times to see where it can go. But after you have given me some type of indifferent energy, you showing me something different, or you're not able to show up to meet the standard or the requirement of friendship, true loyalty, boundaries, all the things, then I'm not going to make myself that accessible, because I think that friendship is something it's a two-way street. It's a relationship, and I have to get to know you and really understand who you are and where you are in your life, and if it mesh with who I am and where I am in my life, and if your quality of loyalty, your ability to withstand my boundaries and respect them without trying to move them, and the quality of love, care, and concern, if those things don't match my level, and I'm not saying everybody has to have the same heart as me, but what I'm saying is all it takes is a little intentionality. All it takes is for you to be intentional. So if that don't match and I'm feeling more of competitive energy, or you always trying to see what I got going on so you can piggyback or all the things, I'm gonna bow out gracefully. You will never know, because you know what I mean? If you can be the type of person who's upfront and say, oh, I'm inspired by what you're doing, and I, in a sense, need help in that area without trying to take it, especially the intellectual property, and copy paste and all the things. And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm speaking because I had a situation.
Clearly.
I had two, but
clearly there has been something in the room. Something has happened in the room.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, if once I feel that, once I see it and I pray about it, go to spirit and really get what I need from it. If I feel that, oh yeah, baby, you're done, you're toast, we would never have another conversation, because I don't have the space or the capacity for people who's pretending to be my friend, but all along you're just trying to get what you can get from me, whether it's the creativity, the inspiration, or the goals, the dreams, whatever it is. Baby, you're done.
And then too, both of you guys spoke about the loyalty, the integrity, the upfront cost, if you will, of building that friendship. It's interesting how some people will literally mask themselves as somebody that's interested in your life and your well-being and your profitability and all the good things pertaining to you. And then they show up in some other energy and just act like you ain't sugar honey iced tea. Like, what happened?
Right.
What
Right.
happened? Talk to me.
Right.
'Cause I wasn't there when it happened, and I didn't sleep with you last night.
Huh?
So, I wasn't there. I wasn't there last night. I wasn't in your bed. I know I wasn't because we got the same body parts. I know for sure I wasn't.
Womp, womp, womp,
And then,
womp.
yeah, and then the weird attitudes and all that kind of stuff. What's the problem? What's the problem? The problem that you're having is not with me. It's something
Absolutely.
about me that does something to you. And whatever that is, that's between you and the creator of the universe. Ain't got nothing,
That's
it
the
literally
problem.
don't have nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
Not at all.
that's the problem.
Yeah. Because I was
Get some
like,
help.
yeah, like you acting like you're 3 years old. Maybe
Right.
4. Maybe 4. And one thing that I have learned and I've discovered when it comes to acquaintances and friends is that you really have to, when they show you exactly who they are, their
Mhm.
intentions, and they show you all their moves, all I do is get that chess piece and say checkmate. I'm done. You ain't got never ever worry about me ever speak. I'm not going to even use my speaker. And it's going to be one of those situations where, like the old people say, speak when you're spoken to.
Right.
It's going to be that kind of thing. Well, why are you speaking? Oh, the last time that I checked, that this person they were so nasty. And maybe they don't realize how nasty they are, but that's not my business either. Because people know exactly what they're doing when they do it.
I'm
They
telling
got
you,
grown people understand. They understand their assignment. They
people
clearly
know
do.
exactly what they're doing, and that's
Oh,
why
absolutely.
I choose to be the way I am when it comes to accessibility or friendship. Like Jason said, the people that I consider my friend. Because no,
Mhm.
you knew what you was doing. It was very intentional.
Right.
Now, if we're in a real friendship and I see because you have proven that you are this person that I'm experiencing this journey with, you know, we're going to be able to have proper effective communication to where
Right.
even if it was something, we could
Right.
talk about it and
Correct.
really get to it without you doing all the extra things. You're not crossing my boundaries. The respect factor is still there. Yeah, but other than that, you knew what you was doing. And good try. Good try. But the
And
wrong
another
person.
thing too, if we deem ourselves as friends, conflict is a part of human life. This is a part of life, period. And when conflict arises, the care and concern should supersede how you resolve the conflict. Let me say that again. The care and concern should supersede how you resolve the conflict. Now, I'm not saying don't resolve the conflict, but you have to think the first part, this is my friend. I said, this is my friend. And a friend loves you at all times. There's no time where a friend will not love you. So
Yeah.
if you really love me and you're my friend, you're going to have a serious care and concern about whatever's happening with me when I express to you what, what this situation has done, or it didn't contribute to my peace. It didn't contribute to my happiness. It made me feel like, I felt like this, or yada, 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 whatever the case might be, to where you can see, even in that conflict, where this person has that still utmost respect for you and they're going to come to you correct, even though they disagree. We're disagreeing in this moment. But because I care so much about you, I'm still going to come to you correct. I'm not going to just come sideways because I'm emotional right now.
That plays a huge part too. Both parties have to be adults about whenever
Yeah.
conflict arises. That care and concern still have to be there, even if you were the one that's getting the smaller end of the stick. You still have to come to me correct, because the way you come to me, that plays a huge part in the energy that you could get sometimes. Not saying you got to match people energy, but just saying, if you're not consciously aware in that moment that this person's about to come to you with an issue and you just impulsively respond, that can make the situation way worse than what.
It can escalate it for sure.
Yeah.
And then you may not ever be able to go back to what it was prior to that particular incident, because most times when it escalates, somebody is saying something that they're gonna wish they hadn't said, and it's gonna be too late.
Right. I would tell you like this. One of my oldest friends, he's been my friend since I was about 5 or 6 years old.
And you're 27, so let's add that up.
Yeah, hold on. You're 27. How long ago is this?
Yeah, let's add that up. Yeah.
Right. Stay with that. And I have a son that's 29. But
I'm dead, like the kids say.
but he is one of my oldest friends. And growing up, you know, we've had some knockout, drag out. I mean, like physical fights. And literally after the fight, we'll go get something to eat. Hey man, you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat. All right. And I'm saying that because as a young person, we realized, dude, you my dude. Yeah, we didn't agree. We had some issues. We got through that. It's over now. Now, this particular time, he's one of them cats. Like I saw a meme yesterday, and it was like everybody needs this one type of friend. When the guy calls his boy up, he was like, "Look, we getting ready to go do something. We can never talk about it again, and we're gonna hurt some people." And the other guy says to him, "Well, whose car are we going in?" That's my dude. That's how we are. It don't matter what's going down. If you call me, I'm coming. If you tell me something's wrong, I'm coming. If you tell me everything's great and you having a party, I'm coming. And you can count on that. And we don't talk every day. I ain't got to be in your face every day. We ain't got to be on the phone every day. But that to me is the level of real friendship. And it can't be, I gotta be on the phone with you every day to be your real friend, or I gotta be in your presence every day to be your real friend. And my dude I live in Seattle. He lives in Florida. We are literally on the opposite corners of the country. But if he calls me today and was like, "Yo, Jay, I need you here tomorrow," I'm on the first thing smoking. And I know it would be the same for him. I have no doubt.
But y'all was beating each other up though?
Yeah, we did. We did as kids.
Listen, Koffe, I was trying to let him, build the story. Real cute, Jackson. I love it for you. But listen, we can fight, me and my friends. We can have a disagreement, but the moment I have to put my hands on you, because I try to have so much self-control, and I know men are different. Y'all are different. But if I have to put my hands on you and I love you as a friend, and I'm a soft, bubbly girl, but I can get rah-rah. And when I get rah-rah, I don't want to talk anymore. I'm like, yeah, we're done. You're finished. So
you're out of there.
I love that for you, Jason.
Mm-mm. No, I'm talking about like young teenagers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Not adults.
Not grown men.
No, not grown men.
Help us understand the assignment here, because we missed it.
27 years old. I'm not doing that. If I gotta fight you, girl, we're done.
I just told you I've known him since I was 5. Trust me, we fought over Big Wheel, Hot Wheels, Batman and Robin.
We didn't know when the fights ensued, though. That's what we're trying to get some clarity on when the fight.
Okay. Maybe my apologies. I wasn't clear.
All right.
The reality is as a young chap living in our mama's and daddy's houses. Yes, we've had some knockout, drag out fights, and after the fight, we were just like, you know what, dude, that was stupid. Yeah, it was. But you got me though. Okay, cool. And then it's a different generation now. It's a different generation. People are different nowadays. They just really different. And I don't think I'm almost afraid to say loyalty means anything to a lot of this younger generation, and that's just me. But it just seems like everybody's out for self, and whatever they can get from you, take from you. That's what they're gonna do. I'm not used to that. I've been hurt somebody.
That's not age specific anymore, because I've noticed some people in our big adults, young jit ages that are doing that same type of stuff now.
Yeah.
Giving those same type vibes.
I think life is whooping on a lot of people, and they're getting so cold and hard to where the love is not. Yeah. So, but I agree with that to an extent. I do. I don't think that a lot of people are considering life within instead of life externally. And the more that they're viewing life externally, they're having all of these experiences that's reflecting their internal. So they're not being kind. They can't even, the most dangerous person to ever come in contact with is someone who cannot even be kind to a stranger. I feel like if you can't be kind to a person you don't know, I would hate to be somebody that you say you love. Because if you're being this rude and disrespectful just by somebody that you're never going to see again, I can't imagine when you're in an emotional experience or life is taking you through it, that you're being kind and loving to the people that are within your close proximity.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot
But
of sense.
there's an old saying that says, "What? How you treat someone that can do nothing for you shows you who you are."
Yeah, yeah, that you can't benefit from. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
If it's somebody you can't benefit from and you treat them like trash, that's just who you are.
facts.
No integrity,
Facts.
no type of dignity, nothing. It's yeah. So those are the most dangerous people you could ever experience, and that's why I pay attention to. You can't just say you're Dupree a friend. No, I'm not just showing up to when people invite me places. I'm not just gonna show up because if I don't know your character, if I don't know who you are, how you are when nobody's watching, and I'm not saying I gotta be invited to your house, but just one experience with you outside of the highlight of you, I'm not showing up because you only got one time to do something where I'm looking at you sideways. And if you'll do that to somebody you don't know, no, we can't mingle in the same energy.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what
like I told you
happens?
before,
Go ahead,
I
Jay.
got a bunch of people that'll say I'm their friend. So I don't have no problem with that. But if someone asks me, "Am I your friend?" I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
I just choose my
Say, yeah,
word."
I know Koffe.
Right.
Wordplay.
Right.
Love it. Yeah, so here's a difficult question, y'all. So, based on everything that we talked about so far, what happens when you have to outgrow the friends without guilt?
What's the problem? I'm trying to figure what's the question.
Jason, you have to be on here
You know,
more.
if you had any kind of bond and that person was in any way, shape, or form an intricate part of your journey, what do you mean? What's the problem?
People change. The,
Mm,
the most consistent thing in this world is change. We
mm,
outgrow people. We outgrow scenarios. We outgrow circumstances. We outgrow situations. It just is what it is. And when you realize you've outgrown a person or a relationship, the best thing to do is just say, "Hey, it's been good. It was fun. Sayonara." Because at this point, it's going to turn into something that we don't want it to be. So I would rather end in peace than to end in a battle or in some type of we at odds with each other. I would rather just say, hey, it was cool. Yeah, I can't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I can't. Yeah, that conversation I'm not having with you anymore. Just plain and simple.
Question.
What's up?
27-year-old
Ask
Jason.
him some questions on this one, Debris, because he sound cold hearted right now.
No, he sounds very mature, but I'm thinking
I'm just playing.
27-year-old Jason,
Mhm.
when you had that experience where you outgrew somebody, you thought y'all was like this, right?
Or y'all were
You
gonna
had
be
to release
running
that
together
person.
forever.
Yeah, and you had
Yeah.
to release that person. Speak from the younger Jason and that.
I'll
How
say this. I'll say this from the younger Jason. Back then, I would be hurt. Back then, I would be offended. I would look to okay, so what happened? What's the problem?
Right.
But at the end of the day, if we understand, I think if you have to have a conversation and just figure out what the problem is. Why did things change? What happened? Is it just that we just grew apart? It happens. Trust me, because 27-year-old Jason, I was married to somebody that I am no longer married to. And I was with them for a long time. And at that particular point, it was just, you know what? This ain't working. Ain't no love lost though. Ain't no love lost. Love you for life. But at the end of the day, we aren't good with each other anymore. We could be friends from a distance. When I see you, I'm gonna always say, hey, I'm gonna always give you a hug, say, hope all is well, and keep it pushing.
Love it. Love it. I think that it takes some growth. It takes for you to really understand who you are and whose you are and the quality of life you want to exist in, because that will help you navigate relationships, whether it's a friend or something deeper than that. um I went through that experience before where I was just cutting off everybody because I had to quiet the background noise so I can really hear within me. And it wasn't that everybody had to go. It was more so of I had to choose myself enough to understand where I was going, to see clearly. And then I revisit the ones that were meant to have more time to see if this is something that's in alignment with what I now see for myself. So if you're in a space where you are navigating how to release people or should I release this person, you have to really dig deep into who you are, what it is you desire for your life, the quality of love, because everybody loves differently. And me personally, after learning Depria, if you can't love me the way that I need to be loved, baby, you're not going to serve any purpose here. And it's not because I'm looking at you in that sense, but more so of I know what I pour, and I'm gonna need you to pour in likeness. Everybody don't have that capacity, so why would I keep you here around when I'm barely gonna talk to you? You be like, oh, you gonna invite me to this? I'm not gonna show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding those things can help you navigate how to release people, how to be okay without feeling guilty.
Mm-hmm.
It was either sink or swim, right?
Right, right. The thing is, you said something that was very key. You said you have to know yourself. I think the problem comes in when some of us know ourselves in our 20s, and we think we're still the same person in our 30s, and the same person in our 40s, and the same person in our 50s, and we are not. You have to know who you are. And I think I said this in another panel discussion that we had, Coffee. We were talking about finding the who. What does the perfect mate look like?
I remember that show.
And even in that, I said there is no perfect mate. The perfect mate is someone that's adaptable, someone that's able to see your change and be okay with you changing, and you being okay with them changing. And that's the same thing in a relationship with friends, because at the end of the day, we're all going to change. So either we're going to be okay with the change, or we have to be able to say, hey, yeah, I'm not going that route no more, but you can keep going. God bless you and love you though. And I'll see you on the next go round, because that's the reality of life. It just is what it is.
For
And
sure.
I think too the way that you really know without saying anything about who needs to be released is when you have that pullback. When you
Right,
have to
right.
go into that internal compass time, like what Dupree was saying, in the internal compass, in the internal identifying moments of your life where you say, I got to pull back from everybody because I have to reconnect with who I am and whose I am. So while I'm reconnecting, you'll discover who actually was there in the first place. Because the reality of it is, a lot of times we think that that person is, there's an ebb and flow, and there's not really an ebb and flow. And when you pull back and that person doesn't push forward, that's a clear indication that, okay, it's
Right.
easy to release you now, because when I pulled back, you didn't pull, I ain't heard nothing, a peep out of
Right, right.
so that means that the role that I thought I played in your life was nothing more than what's that thing called, a mirage in my head. So I got a whole mirage in my head. I think I'm seeing water. Ain't no water there. I'm watering the plant, and then if the plant doesn't get water, it dies on your watch because you're not watering the same plant I'm watering. And
Right.
I'm thinking when I'm not there, you're watering the plant. I think a lot of times when we use the term friend very loosely,
Very.
and we haven't had a definition of what it means to be a friend. One of the most profound stories in the whole entire world is the story of David and Jonathan.
Oh, for sure.
That's like the most prolific indication of what a friend is. This dude literally was like, if my daddy tried to kill you, I'm coming to tell you my daddy trying to kill you, and I don't care what the dude does. Because you my friend.
Right.
So you mean tell me you're gonna go against your blood, your daddy, and knowing what kind of consequence you can pay for that? I don't care. Because you're my friend.
Yeah.
So, if you think about it, a friend is quite different than any other role that somebody will play in our lives.
Yeah.
A true friend is going to be there regardless of whatever it is, why it's happening, what caused it to happen, when it happened, where it happened. All of those things and variables are irrelevant because that person has made a conscientious choice to choose you as a
Right.
part of their life. Because think about it, Jonathan, he had a purity of friendship with David to where he said, I love David like I love myself, and that's another thing too that we have to come to terms with. If a person doesn't understand how to meet their own needs, then they will never be able to meet your needs because they're not meeting their own needs.
Yeah.
And I can't be a friend to you if I can't be a friend to myself.
Right.
I don't. If you got to have an audience your whole life, oh, I don't want to be by myself. I can't be by myself. I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to go nowhere by myself. I don't want to be home by myself. Why are you afraid of your own shadow? I mean, what's going on internally that will cause you not to want to be with you? And if I can't be with me and I can't love on me and I can't give me exactly what it is that I need, there's absolutely no way I could pour into somebody else at that same magnitude. It's impossible.
Right.
You're not capable of being a good friend. You're not even a good friend to yourself.
Yeah.
Being a good friend, a real true friend, it's an unconditional in all seasons type of thing. Just like a relationship you will have, a more deeper, intimate relationship you will have with the person you want to experience life with or do life with. It's the same thing with a friend.
Right.
My girl, that happened, but I still needed you to show up. That doesn't mean you have to show up in all of these grand ways. It could be the smallest thing, but at least have the capacity to hold for me some space to show me that the friendship is really what I'm thinking or allowing myself to pour into, right? If it's not that quality of friendship, this is not a friendship. This is
And when you can't be there, say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Be honest about it.
Be an adult.
Going to be able to be there.
Like Jason said.
Yeah.
Like Jason said, we're not going to talk every day. Life be lifing.
Right.
But when we do talk, it's like we ain't skip a beat. It's like
right.
we
Exactly.
back on. Like we never left,
Right. Facts. And I think that's another thing too that people have to realize when it comes to friendships is you have to say what it is that you need to experience with that person. One of my friends said to me, we hadn't, I forgot how it was because we normally were talking on quite a consistent basis, and then something transpired where we weren't talking as much. Well, I felt kind of, what did she say? I felt low when I didn't talk to you or something like that. I said, oh, you need to deal with that yourself, honey. They ain't got nothing to do with me.
She said what?
She said she felt low, like low because that we hadn't conversed. And I said, no, that's something you got to deal with that's going on internally. because I can't be the person that's lifting you up all the time. That you have to lift yourself up.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
And
our
you know,
responsibility.
yeah, figure out why you're feeling that way, but that has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. You're pushing that off on me, or you trying to channel it my way, but that has absolutely nothing to do with me. And when I told her that, she was like, I never thought about that until you said something. I said, yeah, you can't ever depend on somebody else to be your joy and your peace and your all that thing. All those things come internally. They come
Yeah,
from within, not from without. A person can contribute to that, but it already has to be there. I can't contribute to something that's not present.
right.
And don't look at me to be your gas when you on E and you running on fumes. You need to create you that comes from your creator. That's who you need to
That
lean into.
that
Right.
is being codependent, and codependency is not. That's not a good thing.
It's not
You
attractive at all.
you
Not at
depend
all.
on my light, my energy for you to be lifted and happy and joyful. That's a heavy weight for somebody to carry, and
Period.
I don't
And
think
that's a
that
lot
they
for you to
consider
ask
it.
somebody to do.
Yeah.
I was
Happiness.
married. I was married to a young lady, and I ran into one of her friends in the street, and she said to me, "I hope you keeping my girl happy." I said, "Can't do that. I don't even know how."
Uh-oh.
I said, "I can do nice things for her. I can hopefully put a smile on her face, but happiness, that's inside of her. If she gonna be happy, she gonna be happy with or without me. So don't come asking me, is she? All right, I hope you making her happy. I can't make her happy. That there is no way."
Only thing I can do is contribute to what's already there.
Right, right. If
It.
you happy, you happy. And
Period.
like I said, I can put a smile on your face. I can give you something to make you smile. I can make you feel like you've accomplished some things. But at the end of the day, your happiness is between you and your God.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want the responsibility of anyone else's happiness. You know how hard it is for you to work on your own
Listen,
happiness, for you
listen.
to find true fulfillment and happiness within yourself? Why would I ever want to take on the responsibility of another adult happiness? No. With your children, you're helping shape and mold them to where they don't depend on external things for happiness. So why would I
Right,
take an adult, another person outside of me, responsibility of their happiness? You will never find it within me. You will always feel void.
right,
No.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I just think that a lot of times it's almost like when you make that decision to say, I want you to be in my life, I want us to build our friendship. What does that look like to you? What does friendship mean to you? So we can have a clear understanding of expectations and all this other kind of stuff, so that no one is looking at this and not understanding clearly what it is that we've made a choice to do. No
Yes.
matter whether it's platonic, business, whatever the case might be, intimate, whichever type of bond you're forging with that person. Let's just have a candid conversation about your understanding of what friendship is versus my understanding of what friendship is, and what is it that you're looking for from me. And how do how do you perceive me feeling whatever it is that you're looking for from me? Because we need to know how to care about each other. We need to know
Yeah.
how to be a friend to somebody else. If I say that I'm your friend, but I don't meet whatever your friend requirements are, then I'm not your friend then. Or I may not know what it is that you need from me, because we've not established what it
Yes.
is that we need in this particular, partnership that we've decided to have.
I think that's important for, like you said, all qualities of uh, friendship. Every friend is not going to be your everything friend. You know what I
Right,
mean? It's
right,
going to be a different level of friendship here. And if we start off as a business friendship, I can't even say that I am going to cross you all the way over. That's going to
right.
take even more, because you're working on a business relationship first. And if I let you dip into my personal too deep, we may mess up this business that
Right.
I have
When it's
going on.
time to make
So,
decisions and stuff like that, it might not work out to it.
so you got to have a different level of boundaries and expectations for this quality of friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts. Well, listen, we are already at the top of the hour. This was a fantastic conversation. I knew that Jason and Dupree was going to bring it tonight. Period. We always have great conversations on the show. What about your friends? I want you guys to think about that. Consider the people that you have in your life. Consider the people that you deem to be friends. Consider how those friendships have evolved, how much time you've invested, and do you feel as though it's being reciprocated? Are you receiving, a level of what it is that you give? Like the Priya said earlier, maybe not necessarily the exact same, but are you feeling as though you're able to be poured into the same way you're pouring out? That being said, thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in, and being a part of our show. It's never going to be us without you guys. Grace, peace, and many blessings. Enjoy the balance of the evening, and we'll see you guys for another edition of the Koffe Brown Show. Grace and peace.
You're my
With the power of AI, you can make your marketing come alive. Just with a few clicks of a button, you can turn a marketing campaign from good to great. Join us for the revolution. With artificial intelligence, let's make your marketing come to life. CEO Koffe.